Ho, 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 and welcome to the Rokk Players show with me, your only host tonight, HOULTS. And why you have got me is because the guys have given me the reins today we could be dragged anywhere on this show because the guys are not well. Poor Bjorn, he's got a cold, and Rock's voice is sort of not in his best performance. So they're just taking a break, so I just thought it's the season to be festive and jolly and share. So I thought today I'm going to take the load off and actually run the show. What possibly could go wrong? But hey, this is actually my virgin voyage into the streaming world. So please be gentle with me, because sometimes I might actually have a performance issue. But hey, we're here for the laughs and the giggles. So I'm glad that there's some people in chat already joining. So we got like Lulu. She's actually saying that, you know, get better Rock with his lovely voice. And of course, we've got like Vet. You know, Stephen, can you hear me? Of course I can hear you, Vet, especially you. And of course, we have got Rock Show. HOULTS, who goes there? And it's I, the one, the only, HOULTS. I wish I was the only HOULTS, actually. My father's got the same name as he, so technically speaking, he could be HOULTS, and then I'll be the second one. But anyway, welcome to the Rokk Players show. I think I've actually rambled enough for the sort of the mini intro, and I'm glad actually I hit the live button correct. Everything went well. I actually hope there's actually people actually watching this, and it's just not me just speaking to my web camera. But we shall see. We shall see. So just just to do the formalities for Rock, who has graciously allowed me to actually have the screen for a bit. So I just want to say, if you head over to rockshow.com and you sign up for the newsletter, you will be entered into his, of course, like newsletters, and you'll be informed when Rock goes live with all his Rock shows. But if you actually head over to the giveaways, you will actually see that Rock actually loves giving giveaways of games to all his gamers. And if you've been a good boy and girl, and you've actually, clicked and joined the socials, you actually might be lucky to actually win some Christmas prizes. Ooh, wouldn't that be great to have in your Christmas stocking? But yeah, so, that out of the way. That is Rock's webpage. I have to try and stop saying but we'll get with it. So yeah, so what I've been doing, so in chat, give us actually a comment what you actually been up to this week in the gaming space. And it doesn't have to be gaming, it could be in the media space, it could be in the holiday space, whatever you're doing, just give us a comment to actually see that the chat's actually working. Me this week, I've actually been playing Final Fantasy VII Core Crisis Reunion. I actually bought it on the Steam Deck because I'm a big, huge Final Fantasy fan, and I've not been playing this game since the PlayStation Portable, and actually seeing it get a remastered, I just was doing backflips and thought, you know what, I'm actually going to jump in and actually play a handheld mode in my Steam Deck. And so far, I've been really enjoying this game, and I would recommend it to any Final Fantasy fans out there. I mean, the mechanics and the gameplay run so smooth, and it's so gorgeous to actually see this game get some loving. A few little nitpicks, like I don't really like Zack's new voice actor, but I'm pretty sure he will grow on me. So let me just check in chat. So we've actually got more people joining, and we've got Vet again. Oh my god, it's HOULTS' first ever show. I'm actually pretty sure Vet is actually screaming around the room. My number one cheerleader, wouldn't want anyone else. So yeah, so now we got the formalities out on what I'm actually doing, and I actually see chat is working. We can actually move on to some of the news. So we're going to start off with GeForce now. So there's been 6 games that has actually joined GeForce Now this week, and here's one called Cosmetia Starship Architect and Commander. So it's a space building sim where you, of course, as it sounds, you build your spaceship and then you go out and explore the actual world, well, the galaxy, and see what's out there. So about this game is a starship builder perfect for fans of games like FTL, Star Sector, Spaz, Space Engineers, and Escape Velocity. And sadly, I don't actually know any of these games because I am not really a space sim builder. But I know a few of my friends and the people in stream and in chat, they actually love designing spaceships. So if this is one for you and you like to actually spend time with all the tools available to build these ships and build your world and expand across the galaxy, I'm pretty sure this early access game will be for you. Of course, there's actually a little video here. This is going to be the first time I'm actually going to see it myself. Boop. You know, if it actually presses play. I've actually kept the sounds off for a reason, because this is my first time. I actually do not want to get a copyright strike. So, I'm just checking all this is all right, should I say? So yeah, that was actually a quick glimpse of the sort of space simulator. If that actually rocks your boat, I'll actually float your boat in space. I shouldn't say rock your boat. Or maybe if you actually rock in space, maybe you could rock a boat in space. The next game is Floodland. Of course, this is a apocalyptic world, climate change, civilization type game. So what happens is the climate's changed was a catalyst for succession of events that led to the destruction of the world. Oh, that doesn't actually sound good, does it? Rising sea levels have inundated the coast. Only you can help humanity survive by leading your band of survivors. Oh, that sounds interesting. But no, if someone came up to me and said, HOULTS, you are in charge of the last known people of humanity, and it's up to you to actually face this climate change, I'd be like, nah, it's all right. But if you actually like all these type of games where you actually build up civilizations again from the peak of extinction, I'm pretty sure this game is going to be for you. We have got Purple Haze in chat. Lovely to see you. And then this is the first time me being in the opposite place. Usually I'm the one in chat saying to people, these great creators that you've inspired me. So it's great to actually see people actually cheering me on. Woohoo. So if you actually like these games, let's go back to Floodland. I actually didn't show you what was it about. So you explore and exploit the world as you know it has gone, replaced by island swarms and isolated groups of survivors. Yeah, there's always got to be someone that wants something that you've got. You know, that's the fun of the game, isn't it? Scarce resources, and we have to go out and explore. I mean, I know a few people like this, and they sort of become victims because they go out into the world acting all big and bagged for the resources, and then they just get beat up, which is actually sadly me. But if you actually like these type of games, it does actually look very interesting. So here's just like a little, overview video what actually you can actually do. As you see, it's fast forwarding through, the time period. It looks very interesting if that is your cup of tea. Next, we have actually got Marvel's Midnight Suns on the Epic Store. This game was originally released on the Steam, but now we've got Epic for all them gamers out there who actually like the Epic Store. I mean, to me, I actually go to the stores, who's got the cheapest. So it's actually good to see that this could be, in my situation, it could have been me where I bought this from the Epic Store. So it's always good to see availability from other storefronts. Now, this game is really interesting because I actually love Marvel characters. I actually used to love card games in the past, so from Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Hearthstone and stuff like that. So actually seeing my favourite Marvel characters getting made into a card game with a story-based progression actually really interests me. So I don't know about you in chat, if any of you could actually name any card games or any Marvel characters that you like, and would this game actually interest you in actually playing? I mean, me, I've got the 30 tier on GFN, so I would actually like to kick back and actually play this game sometime somewhere or around the house. Oh, thanks, Babel. It means a lot. So next, as we move on, we've got Master of Magic. Oh, wouldn't that be great if someone said to me, HOULTS, you are the Master of Magic. What are you going to do with it? And I don't actually know what actually this game is, because usually with GFN, they actually focus on simulators and stuff like this. So to me, it's actually, I just I had to read the description as I go. Masters of Magic is a combination of RPG, ooh, I do love that, role-playing games, and strategy games. Well, that's one. A remake of a classic from the 90s. Hey, I played games in the 90s. In Master of Magic, you take up the role of one of 14 unique and diverse great wizards. I wonder what houses they went to. I mean, do all wizards know the wizarding world? I wonder. Recruit and command mighty armies of elves, dragons, dwarfs, orcs, and many more. Oh, so it's like a Middle Earth. That sounds interesting. 14 unique players, powerful wizards, 5 schools of magic. See, you need the schools of magic, because who else is going to help you with the dark arts and all them other magical stuff? And 18 traits to customize your wizard. Over 60 special abilities. Yeah, see, more the merrier. Over 200 spells to research, 14 fantasy races. That actually sounds very interesting. I actually might give it a go. Let's actually see above if it's actually got a video I can actually show you, just in case you actually do love RPGs and strategy games. Like I said, I've just put it on mute because I don't actually know what actually you can actually play or not, and if the actual stream will actually get a copyright. So better safe than sorry first. But here's a little quick put my tongue back in. I might need it one day. Quick glance of what it's like. Oh, so you got a bit of text there, a bit of reading. I mean, I don't really do much reading. I like the voiceovers of the wizards. You're a wizard, HOULTS. Do you want to really use unique spells in the wizarding world? Yes, please. That'll do me. Okay, moving on from all the silly banter I'm doing. Play Roller Coaster Championships. Now, I've actually heard about this game a few times, and I didn't actually know it wasn't on the GeForce Now at the moment. But it looks like it's actually joining. So here we skate, tackle, and roll your way up to glory in Roller Champions. Discover a free-to-play team PvP sports game that like no other. Well, I've never played a PvP game with actually roller blades. So welcome to 2032 arenas and have built all over the world, and fans rush to the stands to admire the modern-day heroes of Roller Champions. Wow. It must be actually very knackering to actually roll over 100 miles an hour and tackle opponents. It actually sounds quite brutal. Once again, this is not a game that I actually sort of pay attention in my radar, but because joining the show today, it's actually I'm getting an overview and you're getting an overview. So hopefully we can actually inspire each other and actually see what happens. So team up with 2 players and dive in Roller Champions gameplay, which combines fun, competitive action and collaboration team play. Go head-to-head against the opposite team through its speed, wit, and crushing tackles. Yeah, once again, it actually sounds brutal. This actually could be a lovely game for me to actually get involved in the sort of GeForce Now window, should I say. So I'm just going to quickly check the chat. HOULTS, you are the master of magic. See, exactly. I totally agree. I think that's what it is. We all should actually get together on GFN and play Master of Magic, and we can all be like, we're all wizards. We have got, and now your mother knows what's going on, guys. He secretly wants to be a wizard as well. I'm pretty sure, he'd be a great wizard as well. A formidable enemy, should I say, in the gaming space if he was ever playing this wizardry game. So let's actually move on with the next article of news I found. So what was it? Wavetale. So Wavetale is actually a game that I've actually played before on the streaming service called Stadia in the past, and I really enjoyed the art style of this game, and the music was very beautiful. I know it was well received in the Stadia community when they was actually playing this game. But like for the people who actually have not seen it, here's a quick overview. Explore an open sea and a decaying archipelago of the Strandville in Wavetale, a story-driven action-adventure game introducing you to fed-up fishermen Oh, actually, I'm glad I actually finished that Fisherman. I thought the fish were going to be fed up. I guess they're actually singing The Little Mermaid in this area. But it's good. It's the Fisherman. Secret Hermits. And maybe a pirate or two. We like sailing the seas. Yeah, so it's very engaging, very fun. I'm actually just going to scroll down to actually show you what the art style and sort of, feel the game looks like. If I can actually find a video to show you, they're usually at the top, but sadly, no, just that little clip. So you would have to take my word for it that it actually is a lovely little relaxing game to play, and yeah, well received. And it's good to actually see this on GeForce now. So moving on. I actually had this set up, and it's just actually so funny when you actually press a button and then sometimes it goes boop, nope, denied. Yeah, well, it's one of my favourites, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are ecstatic to see this game come back. This is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and to me, I can't actually praise it enough. I think this game is absolutely... It looked beautiful in the past and actually ran great. To actually see a remastered version is actually a sort of great thing to actually see. This is, you actually play a mutant. Well, you play a person called Geralt of Rivia, which is actually a witcher, which actually is a human mutant who uses mutagens to actually kill all the things that lurk in the dark. So you go around with your two swords, one of silver, one of metal, and you go around and actually fight the evils of what's coming. So could Geralt protect his loved ones? Could he actually save the world? You have to see by playing the game. Me, I actually love this game. I've actually put 200 hours in this game, and it's just a game that keeps on giving. The DLC stories are just amazing also, which adds more time. And if you feel like you just want to dive in a very rich, gorgeous, well-scripted game, then this one is up for you. So yeah, so check it out in the GFN. And of course, if you got the 3080, it's going to look absolutely gorgeous as well. So Plays says, I was thinking about getting it on Xbox, but might get it on GFN. Ooh, both actually nice little places to actually play it on. It depends if you want to stream it or you actually want it on your local device, but the game actually runs gorgeous, should I say. Or looks gorgeous. I don't know what actually runs. I actually haven't played it yet. I bought the PlayStation 4 base game years back, and that was my sort of venture into the world with Geralt. And I'm pretty sure that if I turn the console on, my update will be there ready to go, and I can do it. But see, the problem, I like the whole streaming aspect of GeForce now, for example, with games like this, because with a game at this size, I feel like that I can do more on the cloud by grinding a few levels here, a few little missions, side quests, and it adds all together to give me the sort of full experience of the game. Where usually I get fatigued a lot more sitting down in a space where my console is. But I guess it's each one's preference how you actually want to do it. And sorry if I'm actually just pausing a sec. We're actually reading between chat. I'm just actually trying to tackle between the finger. But that's it. That was just 6 articles in the GeForce Now news this week. I hope that you sort of go and have a little look for yourself and maybe try some demos. Try some demos or have a little look yourself and see if it actually might interest you. I think GFN is a lovely service. It doesn't matter if you've got priority and it doesn't matter if you've got the 3080 tier. But if the games are in your library, I would recommend you go and check these ones out. Now, here's one that I actually seen just before, and it just made me doing backflips because we all love Lara Croft here in the UK. Hence, I said Lara, not Laura. Laurie. You know who you are in chat. But hey, the new Tomb Raider game is actually coming out, and this is supposed to be the biggest one up to date. Now, if you played the past trilogy, you know the game's actually quite big. They're not as big as a huge open world, but it's enough to actually sink your teeth in for a few hours. And the adventure of Lara, how she actually comes into becoming the Tomb Raider, is just an epic story. And I'm glad to actually see that Amazon Game Studio is actually wants to be the leading publisher. So when I seen this, I was like, oh, you can't do anything wrong pairing with Crystal Dynamics to bring more of that sort of stealth action adventure with Lara. So I was over the moon to see this take, and possibly, you know, who knows, this actually might be one of these games that might actually come to Luna. But, you know, that's, you know, speculation, or fingers crossed, should I say. So Amazon Games is teaming up with Crystal Dynamics to publish the next game in Tomb Raider, of course. Tomb Raider has been one of the gaming industry's biggest franchises, see, and it well deserved, well deserved. So it'd be interesting. So in chat, to do any use like Crystal Dynamics making a new Tomb Raider, and also what do you feel about Amazon Games actually publishing the game? I've not really played much Amazon game studios to actually sort of disagree with their talents, or should I say, but I'm pretty sure that we're working with Crystal Dynamics, it's going to be a beautiful game. So let me just actually jump into chat and see what people are actually saying. Roaster is actually said, wow, it's HOULTS. Yes, it is me doing the show. Our buddies on the panel is actually not well today, so I actually thought I would actually jump in for a bit and actually see how I go. So I should actually stop. We've all got like these little traits that we have on stream, and I actually don't do it on other people's because I'm always talking. But when you've actually got yourself to actually think by yourself, you sit there and you have like these little ticks. So I apologise for that if the mic's picking it up. Roaster has said, I barely played the Lara Croft games, so I have no opinion of her. Well, you know, even though you don't know who Lara Croft is and you don't have an opinion on her, do you actually play any of these action adventure games that sort of you see in Uncharted and games like this? So sadly, I actually just read the news before, actually excited. I do not know who the writer is, but as you know, Purple, you've actually interviewed people who are interested and been involved in the Lara Croft trilogy. So I wonder if they're actually going to bring script writers back to actually support the next iteration of Lara. I mean, it will always be good to see sort of legacy creators come back and actually steal the helm of the games that we actually loved in the past, should I say. But then also there's nothing wrong, I guess, if new creators come along with fresh ideas to sort of boost the franchise. But I'm pretty sure Amazon Studios and Crystal Dynamics, they've got a great way of ethics behind them and stuff like that to actually go far with a franchise, because I wouldn't say it's a risky franchise. I think it's a well-established franchise that fans love, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come across loads of platforms. So I feel like it's going to be well received, or fingers crossed it will be. So we have, but okay, even if Lara Croft, for example, is a forgettable character, I'm trying to say the world is very rich, isn't it? The story progression. I feel like that it was a lovely franchise over the years to push forward, and it's well known in the sort of gaming space. So I feel like it's going to be in good hands with these two, with this studio and publisher. Yeah, so chat's just talking away there. I don't want to keep on there because I have to move on. I mean, I would love to sit here for 2 hours and actually talk about all the gaming, the news picked up today, but I feel like that when you're just by yourself, the lone streamer, I think time just flies. So we shall move on to the next point. The next point, I mean, I'll try and slow down because sometimes I feel like my voice just speeds up. So if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, the games have actually been announced to actually play. Now, WWE 2K is coming out in January, start of January, where the other games are actually going to come out on the 20th of December. So if you're a subscriber, you actually got a lot of games to play. Now, these games that I'm actually going to cover, unlike the GFN news, which I was sort of just skimming off, because the style of playing these games are all games that I've actually played, and I feel like are actually amazing. That if I was going to gift someone a gift for Christmas in like sort of the streaming space, I would definitely get them PlayStation Plus for a few months, because these games are just, they're just epic, and they're just so huge and so enjoyable. Like, they might not be for everyone, but I'm pretty sure someone from this list will actually enjoy these games. So kicking off, we've got Far Cry 5 PS4. I mean, if you've ever played the Far Cry's, once again, you just go across these big huge open worlds and actually start fighting practically anyone, cars, animals, people with guns trying to kill you, and you have to stand up to these cult leaders and stuff like that, and trying to find his sibling and stuff like that. So it's actually quite interesting. So here we got control iconic muscle cars, ATVs, planes, and a lot more to engage in the cult forces in this epic fight. Now, I really enjoyed Far Cry 5. I've enjoyed all Far Cry's, but sometimes I feel like I get a bit fatigued. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with there's too much. But there's going to be gamers out there that feel like you can't have too much content. I hear a brrrr, so let's actually go and check what it is. I should actually said to Rokk what was actually the sound alerts. So we have got... So I actually thought it was going to be actually a subscriber or a hit like that, but I'm pretty sure the chat box will let me know in a minute as I carry on waffling about the Far Cry series. So New Dawn as well, once again, a great game. I never really paid much attention to this one though, even though I just said I had to actually play a lot of Far Cry. Take up arms on your own with friends in 2-player co-op in a transformed, vibrant, post-apocalyptic Hope Country, Montana. Wow, that's actually slowed down to say the word. 17 years after a global nuclear catastrophe, join fellow survivors and lead to the fight against the dangerous new threat. So usually with Far Cry's, it usually are the same. It's all open world, you can do what you want, but as I said, there's always new threats, new enemies, great storylines, and great actually musical pieces, I feel. So in this one, it actually finds out that it's a co-op. And here it's actually saying your expeditions will go to memorable locations across the United States, which it's always nice to actually see a game set in the United States. It's all vast and different terrains, I guess. So it's always interesting to see. Now, the next one is Far Cry Primal, which this one is actually set in the caveman days. No, this one, not Primal. Conquer immersive open world with breathtaking environments and unpredictable savage encounters as Far Cry series travels back to the Stone Age. Yeah. So this one's actually very interesting because I've never played a game like it before. You have your staffs, your clubs, other weapons that I'm not familiar with because I'm so used to actually playing games with actually modern guns and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see these brutal environments, and these people just want to always destroy you, what's yours. So it's in the same environments, but with different weapons and a different take on sort of like the shaman, different warriors and stuff like that. So if you're a Far Cry fan, then these actually PlayStation Plus, you've got 3 games to actually play, which will actually take you over hundreds of hours. So if it's for you, jump in and actually enjoy over the holidays. Next one is Mortal Shell. Now, see, this is a game that, on paper, I actually feel like I should enjoy, but then the ruthless and the sort of the challenge-based aspect of this game actually makes me want to put it down, because I know I actually get frustrated. Because look at this, Mortal Shell is a ruthless and deep action RPG that tests your sanity and resilience in a shattered world. Now, I feel like I'll break too much. I'll rage quit, but I know that a lot of people in the gaming space that I talk to, they love being challenged in games. So I feel like they actually would like this game again and again. But like this game says, there will be no mercy with survival demanding superior awareness, precisions and instincts. Track down hidden sanctums. Now I think to myself, oof, it sounds good, but I know that I just don't want to be punished. So I don't know about you guys in chat. Do you actually like challenging games? Do you think it sort of heightens your gaming? Do you feel like you play more of these hard games, or do you feel like you're like me and you just take like the sort of simple approach where you focus more on story? I mean, I'm not saying that I don't actually like enjoying games with a little bit, but I just don't like getting punished. Yeah, Rooster. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, I mean, I've never played a game in the Stone Age era. In the idea of, like, you know, first person walking around beating people up with sticks and spears. So I thought it was actually a nice little fresh little taste. I mean, when I first seen Far Cry Primal, I thought it wouldn't work, but it so does. So we shall move on. We shall move on. I'm just constantly looking at my. I set up a hotkeys so I can sort of move across a lot more. So if you ever see me not looking at the camera, it's just me actually just transitioning between what I was there. So this is one of my favourite ones, Judgment. If you've never played a Judgment game, or you've never heard it before, it actually comes from the spin-off from the Yakuza series. And it's set in the same sort of city, Kamurocho. And in the end, you play a detective where you go to the underground crime network to sort of investigate this grisly murder and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. So if you feel like you like to punch and kick but sort of solve puzzles and stuff like that, this one is just for you. And this actually does actually have the PlayStation 5 version as well. So I'm a big Yakuza fan. So you know, I actually love these thrillers, these psychological thrillers, these story narratives set in a different culture that I am not used to. So I actually love investing my time into this. So it's actually good to see Judgment brought in. And another one is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now this one is actually a different take on the Yakuza games, because usually Yakuza games are sort of action based, more action based with RPG elements, but this one is actually a full-on RPG heavy inspired game, which is actually a new take on the Yakuzas. But to me, I think that this game is so epic. Have you ever like playing games, or you're actually like watching movies like Godfather and stuff like this? I think this has actually got a story to tell that could actually rival them great sort of gangster movies. Now this is actually set in Kamurocho. It's a fictional place which is supposed to be both based off Tokyo. But yeah, you follow a low-ranking grunt who has been unrightfully prisoned, and then he comes out a few years later to actually see that he's actually Tokyo, and all what he loved and liked is actually being gone. So this character is so quick and lovable because he believes that life is like a Dragon Quest game. So everyone thinks that he's a bit gone in the head, but that's where the RPG elements come from. So he's walking around all these deadly Japanese places, meeting all these, so to say, morally grey characters, and you know, a ragtag bunch of society, I guess, outcasters. And it's up to you to sort of build a team, build armor, and you go around and actually try and sort of uncover this mystery of what happened to you and these characters. And now I've actually put hundreds of hours in this game, and I've literally laughed start to finish. So actually seeing this on the sort of PlayStation Plus this month makes me really happy, and I would recommend anyone that's actually got time. And it's not in Japanese. You can choose Japanese or you can choose English, but I choose English. And the voice actors and the bizarreness and quirkiness makes it a very lovable game to me. Now, apart from Far Cry, we're getting another Yakuza. So we're getting Yakuza 6. So we got a Judgment, which is a spin-off. Like a Dragon, which is the newer game. And this actually is getting a sequel next year. So if you rush through this game, I'm pretty sure you will look forward to the sequel going forward next year. And we have got Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. So this is the conclusion of the characters that you actually play through the past Yakuza games. So I wouldn't recommend you actually jump into this game without actually getting some backstory, which I'm pretty sure when you load the game, there actually is a sort of story recap But if you actually like these type of games, it actually is worth it. And it's like what I just mentioned in Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's that you are going into the criminal underworld and meeting just the bizarre and quirkiness in this underworld. So let me just actually check chat before I actually move on. And I apologise if the mic's picking up me growling. People are chatting to themselves. Well, not chatting themselves, chatting to other people in the chat. Now, this is actually one of my favourite franchises as well. And I would, once again, why I said I'll recommend getting someone this actually gift card service for the holidays is it's just full of games. So we just mentioned Far Cry and Yakuza. But these two games are actually also amazing. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Middle-earth Shadow of War. And this is just open world that follows Talion, which is actually a raider who actually travels across Middle-earth and sees elves, orcai, and stuff like that. But what happens is your character dies, and he's known what he's called a grave reaper. So in the end, what happens was you have to build up your character, and sometimes you actually might meet up with formidable characters that will actually kill you. And then what happens was it's got this unique system called the Nemesis system, where every time you die, the enemies level up and then they fight between themselves, and every time they fight between themselves they get strengths and weaknesses, but then they also actually take control more of the terrain of Mordor. So it's up to you to actually customize your character and find ways to outwit them, kill them, and yeah, sort of just take back Mordor and Middle-earth away from them. So Shadow of Mordor is the first game and Shadow of War is the sequel. But if you've got time, then definitely or you actually love the Lord of the Rings, then definitely play this game to actually see what happens between the Dark Lord, Sauron, and the forces of Middle-earth, especially when it comes into Talion's point of view. And of course, you will actually see characters that you'll actually know from their token works. So it's actually interesting and a much game to play. Now this is a game that this is the first time I'm actually reading about it. So let's have a look. In a delightful and unique puzzler, enjoy textless journey where all ideas are shattered in icons and your powers observation will put it to the test, rearranging, reconnecting public signs in order to explore and advance through engage. It sounds interesting, but I'm not really one for puzzles, should I say. It's a shame that there's actually not any, if I click on it, videos to actually see. Now it's just a still image, but I'm pretty sure you'll actually, these games won't be for everyone, but I know there'll be some type of game out there that this holiday they'll be actually doing backflips, that game's for them. Evil Genius 2. This is a sort of top-down where you build your own base being an evil genius and you employ staff to sort of run, and then in the end you have to look after your bases. Other evil geniuses might infiltrate, or even spies like 00 something might actually come in and actually try and tear all your hard work. So this just reminds me of being like Gru from Despicable Me. That's what I can imagine. Build my own little evil lair because I'm evil. The world's evil, and I feel like this game can be so fun. It's like a top-down approach. So look at him there with his big evil grin, big shark grin. So it'd be interesting for someone who actually likes that kind of building game, or sort of, Evening Case Ball. Nice to actually see you in chat. I'm just taking the reins for tonight to actually, just cover a little bit of news and actually test, and just to actually test if actually I can actually test the stream. So hopefully you stay in chat and give me a few pointers on this. Do you actually like playing some of these games that are in the PlayStation, or did you actually check some of the GeForce Now news? Is this something to excite you in the holiday season, should I say? Adventure Time Pirates of the Enchiridion. Now, I don't know if that's the actual word, but my brain just goes to the Japanese word, so... So let's have a look. So this looks like a family-friendly game. I should actually put YouTube on and actually got some video capture, but look at that. I've seen this character before, and I'm pretty sure he's got his own cartoon series. Cartoon series for the younger audience, so it's actually good to actually see that PlayStation is actually adding more. So let's see what the over description. Ahoy, the land of ooh. Oh. That's pronounced oh. Where are you from? Oh. You know, is underwater, and it's up to Finn and Jake to find out why. Join our heroes as they explore the high seas, search for hidden clues. So yeah, if you've actually got kids, or you've actually got younger family members, or you're actually young yourself, it looks like that you can actually enjoy this fast-paced tactical combat and solve the mysteries to save this waterlogged world. So that's interesting. So another one for the I mean, I've seen Ben 10. I've seen many Ben 10 games in the past. I've seen Ben 10, the cartoon, but I'm not up to date with Ben 10. But I know that there'll be kids out there that will be happy to see this join the PlayStation library, PlayStation Plus library. So let's just put on the Omnitrix and transform into Ben 10's incredible aliens as you adventure and battle through the action-packed 3D world to stop a master magical, extremely fiendish plan. Which always happens, doesn't it? Why do they still call him Ben 10 after he's got more than 10 aliens? Or is that how far the sort of Omnitrix can actually last? Be interesting. I've never really paid attention. It's not something that I actually thought about apart from now when I actually just read this. But, you know, you level up your skills to help out the townspeople, should I say, you meet. Collect power-ups to upgrade your aliens. Now, what's so cool about these aliens in Ben 10 is that they've got different elementals. So, like, you sort of got a fire base, a fighting one with multiple arms. I've always thought that you got unique tastes in how the aliens were sort of designed. So if you got kids or you actually like Ben 10, I think this game will be for you. Cheers, Dave Wilson. Gravewalker. Italian was a Gravewalker. I was like, Reaper? Why? So for some reason, the grave reaping just came to my mind for some strange reason. So let's just carry on. So we got another family-friendly game called Gigantosaurus, the game. So this, when it's like saying the game, there must be actually a cartoon or a movie or something, some kind of family-friendly series that has a Gigantosaurus. So let's have a look. Explore and race across the prehistoric world of there's my tongue again. Gigantosaurus. This is a Disney Dino Tale. I didn't actually know it was actually Disney. So in the end, this series is probably on Disney Plus for all. I'm probably sure there's a lot of kids shouting out there going, didn't you know? So it ties into the animated TV series, and it's a part platformer, part racer. Play alone with other friends. Oh, that sounds very interesting if you actually got the, younger kids who actually like this. Pillars of Eternity. Sadly, I do not know anything about this game. It's a game that I would always wanted to get into, but I just always overlooked it. I always got distracted by, say, the games that was mentioned above. And I feel like maybe the time now, with actually having a bit of free time between the new games, maybe I should actually dive in, because I love RPGs, and I do actually have PlayStation Plus. So maybe I actually should dive right in. But if anyone in chat, if you actually like Pillars of Eternity, maybe you can actually recommend if it's actually worth it overall. Or do you feel like maybe there's HOULTS, there's maybe some other RPGs that I actually like better? Now this is a franchise I can get behind. Worms WMD, because I've been a big, huge Worms fan since like the PlayStation 1 days. I just love the whole comedy behind these little insects using big weapons and unique ways to actually kill people out. They traverse this like 2D looking landscape. Oh, Someone subbed. I can hear the lovely angelic voice. I'm pretty sure that's how Rokk recorded it. Oh. So I think that's Streamlabs, and that's actually recorded that. But if anyone else has, you know, give us a like or subscribe. Sorry about the chair. A like or subscribe. I'll actually get those notifications, and I can get used to what they actually are. But in a lovely, angelic Christmas. That was so good. So yeah, go back to Off the Angels and go back onto these deadly worms. I would just find the comic relief for these worms, baseball batting other worms off the edge, dynamiting them, super sheep, holy hand grenade. That's what it sounds like. That's exactly what it was. The was actually the holy hand grenade. But like I said, if you're not used to worms, then you know I'm actually just chatting, should I say. But it's very enjoyable. So here you got work your way through 30 campaign levels of increasing difficulty using huge arsenal of new and classic weapons at your disposal. Then take up on 5 opponents and actually take them out. Like I said, if you've ever seen worms, definitely do a YouTube or definitely jump in if you've got the subscription to actually check it out, because it's one of them games just it'll have you in hysterics all the way through. So for example, The Escapist 2. Sadly, this is a game that I do not know anything about. Nothing like that. I wished I should have added links to the YouTube video to actually show myself and the chat. But if anyone in chat actually likes The Escapist, let me know. And it might be a game that I actually might try over the holidays. So let's actually see. It's time to burst out of the toughest prison in the world as you return to life. Okay, so that's, you know, escapist, of course, breaking out of somewhere makes sense. As a prison gets tougher, you're going to have to get more creative with your escape plan. There's tons of options to tackle. Well, that sounds interesting. I mean, I've never been one to use puzzle mechanics and stuff like that to escape out of prison, so maybe that actually might be one for I am actually play. Might be relaxing, or maybe it might be actually frustrating me, actually can't break out of prison. So here we go. So that was actually the extras and the essentials. So here we've got the premium classics. Like I said, Ridge Racer. Now, I spent loads of time back in the day in the arcade playing this racing game. I really love Ridge Racer. It's a shame we actually don't see it these days, but I guess here we are getting the classic. So we're actually getting Ridge Racer 2 PSP. For all them racing fans out there, but good to actually see. And actually, I actually don't think the PSP actually will hold up, but maybe in the cloud space, I guess it might actually still look beautiful because it's not overdoing it. Now, Heavenly Sword, this was one of my favorite games back in the past, and I would recommend it to anyone who's never played it. This follows a feisty, fierce, red-haired warrior who was going to be the wielder. It was foretold that he was going to be the wielder of the Heavenly Sword, but the tribe believed that the warrior of promise was going to be a man. So the character Nariko, she got shunned from the tribe, but a lot of people actually still believed that she could wield it to banish the darkness from the realm. So in the end, in this game, you follow the warrior Nariko across the world, and you hack and slash across the world to actually banish evil. But the problem with this sword is it's deadly because it will drain the essence of the life force of the person who was using it. And I thought the mechanics, and this is one of the first games I believe used like full motion tracking and CGI of their characters. So when you actually look at this character of Nariko or even the villains, you just go, wow. At the time it was amazing. The comedy and the villainous of this game is just perfect. Another PlayStation classic that I can recommend is Oddworld. If you've never seen this little munchkin, Abe, it's just actually classic. Now this is the sequel to Oddworld, the first game. So Abe has left the farm that he was in getting processed, and it goes to the wild. So there's loads of like different creatures you see, mining camps and stuff like that. And you have to get all the survivors from Oddworld across this terrain, and it just brings so much enjoyable to actually see it, because I think it's a timeless classic. But if you feel like that you don't want to play the PlayStation Classic, you can actually play the new and tasty version of the game, and you will actually get a feel for what Oddworld is. And there's actually a Oddworld game called Soulstorm. Highly recommend it if it is for you. Pinball Heroes, sorry, is a game I do not know much about. I've never really been a pinball gamer in the sort of handheld gaming space, but I'm pretty much sure if that's for you, you'll enjoy it. So they're the games that was covered in the PlayStation Plus. So if you got it, try it out. And of course, WWE 2K, WWE 2K22 will be out on the 3rd of January. Now, I don't really know much about wrestling. I really used to love playing wrestling in the past. Loads of great times. But I've never really been invested in sort of the New Day, New Day characters of the WWE franchise. But I know there's a lot of streamers and content creators out there that actually love WWE, so maybe I'll actually jump on board over Christmas and have some, over Christmas, January, and actually have some good little battles. So if you're in chat and you like WWE 2K22, give us a shout, and maybe we could actually play some wrestling. And who is your favourite wrestling these days? So Rock's in the chat. David Wilson's still in the chat. Let's see what Dave Wilson says. Worms was my jam. Yeah, I mean, the chaotic fun of Worms, just like I said, getting friends together with the multi-tap or going through the generations of games and always seeing Worms evolve but still keep that classical taste of Worms just always puts a smile on my face. So Dave Wilson, hearing it was your jam makes me smile as well. You know, it's good to actually see. If you actually want to, if people actually, I'm just reading, actually see Rock in chat, but let me just actually double click this. I was actually laughing about it before. For people who actually are missing Rock, I can also just mute and disable the camera. So there you go. Look, there's our good buddy Rock. Look, he's in the background, actually smiling, doing his Christmas Carol warm-ups. Look, Stephen, can you hear me? There he is. For the people who actually need to see him, but he's actually resting. So, but a little cheeky little photo there of our guy Rock. Moving on. That was the PlayStation news and GFN, and the sort of Tomb Raider news I got from this afternoon. I picked up some stuff that I actually wanted to talk about because I feel like I was fast forwarding right through all these. But I seen some articles today which I thought was very interesting because we're at the end of the year, aren't we? 2022 has been a lovely year for all. Well, I hope it's been a lovely year for all, especially in the gaming space. So I found this article while we were on the PlayStation Plus of what was the best 2022 games of the year in the PlayStation Plus subscription. So I just want to quickly go through it. I'm a big, huge Persona fan, and seeing Persona 5 hit here in January was a good start of the year for me, because a lot of the consoles would actually start bringing the Persona franchises to their services, which was something I never believed would happen. So when I actually seen it, I was over the moon. You know, Personas are amazing, but this is actually a spin-off. This is a spin-off franchise from the Persona series, but all of the characters, if you are used to these. So that was January, which I felt like was a good little taste. Ghost Runner in March. Now this is one of the games that I wanted to play, but don't think I had the talent to actually play it. But I knew a lot of people actually really loved and praised the publisher. So seeing this, you know, it got released October 2020, and then it came free 2 years later in the March this year. So that was actually a great game to actually see. A good AAA game, should I say. Slay the Spire. Oh, look at all these games that I've not played, and they've been like rated quite high. So I don't know if people in chat, if you actually enjoyed the games like Ghost Runner, did you actually play it on the PlayStation Plus? And what about Slay the Spire? Is that something that you should like be shouting at the screen, halt, you need to go back and actually play this? But this one here says it's a roguelike deck building game. Now I don't mind the deck building, but I don't want to be punished by roguelike. I know a lot of gamers out there do actually like roguelike, run rogue games and stuff like that, but to me it's a hard swallow. But if people in chat start saying, come on, try it, it might actually be interesting to see how I take my sort of bias and sort of push through it. So it says players must ascend through the spire via procedurally generated levels, enemies, boxes and more, with players need to construct a deck. Now it sounds interesting, but like I said, the reward to be punished. And I know a lot of people shouting, halt, the more risk, the more reward you get. But to me, it's like, oh, it's not for me. But I hope it's for you. So another one we got, God of War in June. Now I love the God of War franchises, and this is the 2018, which actually follows Kratos in how it's Norse mythology. So it's with the Aesir gods of the Norse, and we all know who Kratos is because he's been a sort of a PlayStation figurehead for years, who had PSP games, PlayStation games across the generations, and now we've come to see this new take. Now, this is the prequel to God of War Ragnarok, and I'm just really happy to see it. Now, I'm pretty sure this came to the PlayStation Plus, and then later on it came to, at the same time, it came to PC. So it's actually see that God of War got a little bit of love before the sequel came out, which is also an amazing game. Now here is a nostalgic PlayStation figure. Now, he's not really a PlayStation figure these days, but a lot of people still use the PlayStation idea. So we've got Crash Bandicoot 4, It's All About Time. Now, I'm getting older in my gaming experience, but actually always playing this game brought a smile on my face, seeing all the characters that I grew up with, and actually see it in a modern twist. The more challenging twist, should I say, was really good. So I highly recommend that if it's still on the service, definitely go and play Crash Bandicoot. I spoke highly about Yakuza. Now, it's one of these that, as the year went on, I know I was mentioning these games in the services, but now I'm reflecting on this 2022 chart, and a pretty lot of people have actually seen that it actually had great games, really great games. So I was a big, huge fan of Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've just mentioned that before. Good RPG if you love all that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Oh, now this was my jam back in the day. I was never really a skater type of person, but I did actually love playing skate games, especially the Tony Hawk's franchise. So there you go. Injustice 2, October. Now, I mentioned this before, that I was a big, huge superhero fan, especially when I was mentioning Marvel. But seeing the DC, I love the DC superheroes. I love a lot of DC sort of shows and stuff like that, and movies. So seeing what I believe was one of my best fighters of the few years ago come to the service was a nice little touch. So there you go, we got Injustice. So what I'm actually looking at now when I'm actually seeing Neo 2 and stuff like that is that this service actually got a lot of different types of genres, should I say. So it's actually good to see that this service over the year got a bit of everything for everyone, should I say. And rounded up Mass Effect trilogy. What a brilliant, absolute trilogy. I spoke highly a few weeks ago about this as it got announced. But definitely a lovely series to actually play. Would recommend any, like I said at the start, if you've got any gifts you need to give out for Christmas, then maybe you should check out PlayStation or GFN and give the gift of Christmas within the cloud space. So we got Winstar in chat as well, and we got Rock agreeing, I hate roguelike and light. Yeah, exactly the same. We maybe just don't like getting punished too much in that kind of art style, that kind of genre, should I say. Rooster, we are all special. There you go. Lovely holiday message there, I guess. And Rokk saying, we're all one in a million. We're all one in a million. I guess that's what he actually sings when he goes to bed. We're all one in a million. I like that approach as well. So that's caught up to chat. So like I say, just carry on progressing on a reflection scheme of next year. Now, they were the free games of the service, and I know this is going to be a bit biased of me, because in the end, I could have got the list of each and every platform, but I actually just felt like maybe it was just better to reflect on 2022. What was the best games of 2022, especially when it comes to stories? I know there's loads of mechanics and features, and a lot of stuff that we could have talked about, especially in the Game of the Year awards and stuff like that, but I felt like it's already been covered. So I feel like when we're going to 2022, I feel like story is what actually drives me and a lot of people to actually play games. So I just wanted to quickly, kill some time and actually focus on what was everyone's favourite 2022 game. Now, this could be actually added to a service, or this could be one that you actually paid for example. It doesn't just have to be like, I don't know, bestseller or best story, depending on what these people are saying. But when I was actually reading it, I actually thought there was a lot of things to agree on. So first, we've got, like I said, these are not in a top 10 order. These are just the games that sort of reflect highly in the sort of year, should I say. So Plague Tale Requiem actually got nominated for a few nominations in the Game of the Year, and rightfully so, because this game was absolutely gorgeous and very story-driven. So if you like all these narrative story-driven games, this one is for you. I think from start to finish, the story was amazing in the hours that I actually played, and the music was absolutely gorgeous. I would love to see more from this developer, make more of these actually type of games, but I know they're not for everyone. So, pardon me again, it's just... the mic's just picking up. I'm talking too much without a drink, and it's just the little thing. Now, sadly, this game, right? Even though I applauded it and I think it looks gorgeous and I wanted it, I just didn't really want to invest in it, because I feel like without having the time, I can't progress challenging games as much these days. So like the Bloodborns, the Souls games and stuff like that. So I put Elden Ring on my back burner. But then every time I seen someone stream it or talk about it, was so highly engaged in this game and talk about it, which made me actually jealous that I was stubborn this year. Then when I seen the sales and I seen the sort of the musical tastes and the art style and actually won the Game of the Year, it makes me actually want to run out now and actually buy it. So this game is absolutely gorgeous. And I hope anyone in chat that actually likes these kinds of types of games, have you actually played Elden Ring? Do you actually think it should have deserved the Game of the Year? And the whole point is how challenging is it? Is it me to actually sit there and actually think to myself, is it because I'm automatically being biased because of the games that I've actually played in this genre? Do you think I could actually progress through? All it takes is time, or is it really a heavily skill-based game? Now, this game, I just think this is personally one of my best games I've played. God of War Ragnarok, which is the sequel to what was mentioned before, the God of War 2018, and this follows Atreus and got Kratos in the continuality of the sort of the franchise, should I say, in what happens in the event. I'm not going to actually spoil the story, because in the end I feel like if you like story-driven games, this could be in your Christmas list and you'll actually play it. I thought it was amazing, lovely soundtrack, lovely take in the world. To me, I don't feel like it was a direct sequel, in a sense that it wasn't something that brought new features. I thought it was just an increment step to the God of War franchise, which isn't wrong. It just actually maybe plays tribute to how good 2018 God of War is. And I actually was hoping for this to win more awards. But like I said, we had it. It's great 2022 that it all can't be on one game, and it's actually good. Horizon Forbidden West. Now this is a game that I'm in two minds with, because it was beautiful. It was a great open world with the female protagonist that we know as Aloy from the past game, and I felt like her character arc and stuff like that was amazing in the first game, and the sort of world mechanics and features in the first game, that when this game came out I was so hyped for it, but then I felt so fatigued because it wasn't new enough. Now once again, maybe that is because the first game was just so breathtaking that I was just used to this becoming Aloy again in this sort of world that I'm so used to. Scavenge, hunt, kill these robotic creatures. But when I reflect back on 2022, it's definitely a game that people should actually try. And I hope it's not just my bias that I'm saying this. I hope a lot of people actually sit there and go, HOULTS, you're wrong. This game was the best of the year. So hopefully people in chat actually do say that. So people in chat are actually saying roguelikes. So it looks like that, apart from me and Rokk saying no, there's actually a few people, Windstar, Rooster and stuff like that, that actually like rogue-esque games, which is good to go. So Dave Wilson said, favourite 2000 for me is either Elden Ring or High on Life. Both two good games. I'm going to actually mention High on Life in a minute. But yeah, Elden Ring, there's a lot of people in the community chat and in these channels that really do speak about it and make me want to kick myself, because I feel like I wanted to play all of them before sort of the new year games come out, and I just get sort of pegged down by all these new games. So yeah, definitely recommend Horizon. Now sadly, once again, talking about games, this game, Immortals, heavy story driven, and it was in the sort of Game of the Year awards, and I just feel like I've seen people mention it, but I've not really seen it hyped in my sort of gaming circles, which actually makes you want to kick myself, because yeah, it does actually sound good. So in Immortals, players are tasked with restoring 3 films that were never released to the public, all dealing with missing actresses. So it's up to you to, piece the story together and, find out what happened. Which I love games like, that are heavy story driven, so we talk about like Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, stuff like that. All games that I feel like they don't have any other mechanics, but then it's just so amazing. The music and the filmology and the character designs is something that I can get behind when I sort of just don't want to have the action packed in games. So another one. Logo is a point and click. I've never really been as a point and clicks, but to see it here, right? To see it here be on a 2020 list really makes you want to have a little go back. Pentland, role-playing game that takes place in the 16th century. See, so I'm used to saying franchise like AAAs, but all these other games, I don't know if people in chat have actually played these games. Has anyone played Return to Monkey Island? I was a bit too young for playing the original games, but it's actually good to see that a beloved franchise has came back, and it actually is very story heavy. So I should actually have a little look. And of course, Stray, where everyone wants to be a cat. Why not, eh? Why not? This game got a few accolades in the Game of the Year, and I think it's just a gorgeous looking game, a unique game, a unique little story. And maybe if you're a PC gamer, you've played like animal simulators, but to us, to see this type of game from this new developer is absolutely amazing, and definitely deserve to be in the 2022. And yeah, last but not least, and my favourite, this is the game I believed should have been Game of the Year. So I've sort of got a bit of bias because I love the franchise previous games. I mean, they don't follow the same narrative story, but I just love the art style, open world, the quirkiness, and the type of people you actually find in these open RPGs. So, pardon me, that was definitely my game of the year. So if anyone wonders, like, ooh, what should I play? If you wanted a recommendation, then definitely check out Xenoblade. The music's gorgeous, the art style's gorgeous. I think everything's just gorgeous about the game. But a lot of people put it down because it's on Switch, which it is actually showing its age on the sort of Switch front. But if you definitely got this platform, or hopefully it sort of evolves past the Switch, I'd love to see what people's take is if it ever came to PC. So that was all the news done, and just a few little takes of reflecting back in 2020 for free games on the PlayStation or games that was reflected. So people in chat, you know, if you just joined or you're still thinking, put your game of 2022 down. It doesn't have to be the best selling or whatever, but a game that just pops to your mind when I say this. Now this is the last article that I've got of the day. As people know, if they follow, I'm a big, huge anime fan, and I love when I think anime is the best artistic style they can have when you sort of transfer from like sort of the gaming space into sort of a new media. I'm not really fond of being a live adaptation person, so seeing it in an anime art style always makes me feel that you can actually do more in the space, you know, more depiction of the characters, more gore, more stories. I just think that's everything that you can do, because usually in live action it sort of fails. So what we've been seeing the last few years, we've been seeing like Netflix take on like Cyberpunk, we've seen them take on like Castlevania and other anime projects that are based on games. And of course, I can mention other animes like Devil May Cry and stuff like that. That is just a must to watch if you love these characters. Now, I love Nier games, and I really love Nier Automata. So actually see a Kickstarter Crunchyroll season happening in 2023, it just makes me just really want to play the sort of Nier Automata games again. So we've got 2B there, which is the female protagonist from this sort of, once again, it's a post-apocalyptic world where humanities have to rely on sort of cyborgs to help them defeat sort of the uprising machines that sort of oppressed us. So the sort of humans who went to the moon before, sort of, because we destroyed Earth, and we sort of want to claim it back now. So I feel like this game is literally one of the best JRPGs you can play. Definitely a game that, you know, stands the test of time. And I feel like that maybe if it's not for you in that genre Pacific, but you love anime, you just love a different media format of game telling, then definitely, yeah, check it out if you actually have Crunchyroll. So I'm actually going to click stop sharing. There you go. So there were just the news articles that I actually came across that I thought was very interesting to say, because usually the talented Rokk and Bjorn, they sort of do deep dives in a lot of other factors or articles, because they cover their own sites, or they've just got a different opinion and take and stuff like that of the news this week. So I feel like me just jumping in last minute to take a lead, I thought I actually would bring you some news articles or some talks that you could actually relate to. So David Wilson said, Elden Ring isn't particularly challenging in terms of skill. It's just a little bewildering at first. Attacks don't seem... Okay, so the more you study, the more you get into the lore, the more you start adapting your playstyle to the game, you feel like that you can sort of overcome everything. Because my problem with these games is, usually I don't like sort of one-hit kills. So sometimes if I didn't see the sort of one-hit kill red marker or something, I'm just instantly dead. And it doesn't matter how much I sort of prepared my character in armors, swords or whatever, abilities, I just feel like I'm always just getting killed. So I feel like that if you feel like you can sort of get past the skill barrier, then it's something that I'll definitely play. And you definitely say, Dave Wilson says, it's 100% deserves Game of the Year, in my honest opinion, although I haven't tried any of the others. No, I mean that's all right. You don't have to. No one has to always buy and play every single game. You can sort of see who you trust in sort of the creative space or your YouTube, and sort of, you know, build a picture of what you would have liked in 2022. But it's actually good to actually see that you wholeheartedly like Elden Ring. Rokk said, "Yeah, that's a great game. Drew me in." And a bit racy in parts too. Way. Immortality. I thought I was going to say Elden Ring there. I was going to say. So. But good to see that the chat's got a big diverse of characters. Nier and the Cold Steel anime is on my radar. Yeah. Definitely is. I love these franchises, and I love these Shingyo. I love these takes. Like I just said, if someone said to me a Nier Automata was going to live action or Cold Steel, I'll just instantly hate it. I'm one of those people that I've tried live adaptations in the past, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. It just never worked. So every time it never worked, I sort of just go against the grain. And then when I actually see the fan base go, oh yeah, I can see where they were trying to direct it, but it wasn't good enough. I feel like it can't be depicted well enough without having this sort of animated style to it. So I'm definitely going to look for that. Yeah, but say like even at Arcane, it doesn't have to be like hand-drawn, cel-shaded. There's loads of different styles of animation that you can actually use. Oh. And another angel has joined us. Oh, lovely little Christmas jingle there. But yeah, it's just good to see how people can sort of do more in like the CGI space or the sort of animation space with franchises than actually having actors and actresses that we have to feel. And that is why I'm scared. I mean, I want to see HBO Max sort of The Last of Us succeed, but I'm scared because it was sort of a gaming media thing first. I feel that a lot of people are sort of going to compare, rightfully or wrongfully, and it, you know, I don't want to be that person that be stubborn and go, oh, I prefer it when it's in a gaming format. But like I said, I can totally respect where the directors are coming from and bringing something to the light. And that's where I feel I bring an opinion in the anime art style. Rooster agrees with Bingo. Thanks for joining, Wilson. I'm actually going to close down in a minute. I can't believe I've actually talked this long. Wilson, always with the great comment. Are you playing Witcher again? Do you know what? I would love to play Witcher again, but you see, the problem with The Witcher is it's the game that destroyed me, Caseball. This game is so great and so big that I invested so much time. I had the skills, I had the talent to play it. I was just really invested in the whole sort of lore of The Witcher, that once I finished it, I was just broken, fatigued by that. I invested so much into a series that I wasn't playing anything else. And there's nothing wrong with being invested in these open world games, so like Far Cry, Elden Ring, you know, Witchers. But I feel like in my gaming space and the way I chat to people, I feel like that I'd rather take smaller games on, maybe a 10, 25 hour windows, than ever being fully invested into a fully world. But these games are definitely worth your money and time if you've got it, I guess. So the barriers, I think, yeah, Wilson saying. Yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. You can always break a game, can't you, with the mechanics by going over levels and focusing on different stuff and focusing on your weakness. So Vet said, you've only talked this long because Vet wasn't on the show. I mean, that's the mindset that I wanted to be in. Before the show, I was going, be like Vet, focus on Vet, just keep on talking. It'll go all right. So thanks for the inspiration, Vet. Lo-Fi Monk dropping in saying, hey all, and hello HOULTS, hello Lo-Fi, hope you really enjoyed your game before. Totally agree with, Caseball totally agrees with the time, effort you have to put in to finish these games. See, the issue that I've got here is, it's not that I've got a problem with puzzle games, I just hate it when I'm trying to think and then the character will go, it's got something to do with this. And then 2 minutes later, something to do with this. And when you do the puzzle, you find out that, yeah, it had something to do with that, but there was steps in between that you had to do. So I feel like I was looking at the wrong part of that puzzle, and it frustrates me. And I wish that I can just skip it, because I don't want to brag. I don't want to be that gamer that sort of brags. I got an achievement or a trophy because I solved the puzzle in Tomb Raider. I want to be that person that goes, Lara, just solve the puzzle, will you, love, and I'll move on. So, pardon me. I guess Pebble says, I guess if that's the type of woman, Rooster, I guess that's the good old Lara. Or it could be Nariko. We mentioned sort of Heavenly Souls. We mentioned a few female characters in, but I'm pretty sure it's Lara. There's always something about Lara that gets brought up in chat, and it becomes a whole big huge discussion. So Rooster said, GeForce Now links to Ubisoft and syncs your games. Does it automatically sync? I mean, I don't really like auto sync in GeForce Now. It really irritates me, because on my libraries there's games that I actually sort of claimed, should I say, and I hate. I claim them because my friend or someone got me them and it becomes part of my Steam library. But I see them as digital clutter. I see them as icons that sort of hinder me finding the games that I actually want to play. So auto sync in GeForce Now is a lovely feature to certain points, but I just really need the option just to take away the games that I don't actually care about. Which is a bit mean, is it, when I'm speaking about a publisher who's actually giving me these bits. You haven't played Far Cry? Definitely, you definitely need to play Far Cry. If you've got the time and you like the open worldness of these sort of first-person shooters, then definitely Far Cry is a franchise that could be for you. And like I said, if you didn't like guns, maybe you can actually go into the space of, like you just said, Primal. Go back to spears and clubs. Going. So the Nightbot is just giving. I'm actually scrolling down to the bottom. See, okay, here's one for you, Dave Wilson. You just hit the, a good one. You've just admitted a dirty little secret that you never played a Witcher, and that is great. That's all right. We've all got them games. Like I mentioned, Elden Ring 2022 is one of the games that I feel embarrassed as well not mentioning it, because everyone's saying epicness. But if people in chat could before I round off, is there any game that you embarrassingly want to say that you've never played and everyone else around you actually does play it? The Witcher was a good one to be embarrassed. Mine's Elden Ring. Is there any other game you wish that you restricted? I'm trying to scroll down, and the chat's just going all over the place. Bing, bing, bing. And I have to scroll down. So sorry if I'm actually going on. So I'm actually going to round the show off in a minute, because it's an hour and a half, and without any other panel members, it's very hard not to sort of bounce off people comedy wise or intelligent wise in sort of debate. So thank you for chat for actually joining. It's actually been a pleasure. So yeah, so I'm actually closing down. Don't forget to give a like and a comment, even if you just want to talk about the gamings of all the topics that I've brought up, or you actually want to bring up opinions that you agree or disagree with me on. You know, feel free to add them in the comments, or even on Twitter, and drop a like in any Discord or chat DMs, should I say. And of course, next week should be back to normal with Bjorn taking. Well, that's if he's better at the moment. But Rokk should be back before we round off the sort of the Christmas. We'll round up the Christmas holiday or the holiday season if you don't celebrate Christmas, because I know we're all from different parts of the world. And we'll sort of carry on by reflecting back on the games, and maybe we'll have topics going forward in what we're looking forward to in 2023. So yeah, drop a like, comment, and we'll see you again next time on the Rokk Players show. So once again, thanks for coming, thanks for dropping some things in chat, and I'll see you in your streams as well. Bye bye.